Alright, today we've got a couple of runs which have been languishing unedited on my computer for over a month now. And actually this is a response video to a response video. So this one here, you can see the thumbnail from Broken Bench, was a response to one of my older videos, this PDF build with Wolverine, which is now Albatross. And the concept was to put Wolverine inside a beluga. So when it was summoned, it would increase the damage on the PDF that was beside it. And of course now that ability is on Albatross, but we can still do the exact same thing. And we also now have Tatzelwurm, which is a very similar ability to the PDF. It just always snipes the frontmost enemy instead of the highest health. Now Tatzelwurm is available one tier earlier, so it is a bit easier to get this set up using it instead of PDF. But I thought we would mimic Bench's video and have two runs, one where we were using the PDF and one where we're using Tatzelwurm. Now they are going to be slightly different builds. The pack was set up for a few different possibilities because you can't guarantee that every time you're going to get the beluga or the Albatross necessary to actually get the combo going. But I think in this first run we are going to get both of those pets, and we're also going to feed up this seagull, make sure it's strong enough so that once we give it a mushroom, it's going to be able to survive and hopefully allow us to loop some of the Albatross summons and just keep getting additional damage from each snipe from the Tatzelwurm. So here we actually match with Metabrusk playing Lamprey plus Triceratops. I'll link his channel in the description. I highly recommend going and subbing up over there. So I think I'm actually going to give the seagull melon for just now, and then we'll look for the mushroom later on. Luckily here we end up getting an Albatross from the level up, and then we see this new mechanic which I don't think I've featured in a video before, but when a pet gains a perk now, it counts as being fed. So actually you can activate Beluga Whale with Seagull like we just did there. Previously that wouldn't have done anything. So in the end we actually ended up swallowing both of the tier 6 units that were revealed on that level up. So we're closing in on the level 3 Tatzelwurm. We find the mushroom, but I think I'm going to wait a little bit longer because we're going to take this Albatross, give it a melon, and then now I can give the seagull the mushroom, although we have spent the trigger for this turn, so it's not going to do anything in battle. Some fairly weak looking opponents here. It does make me wonder if things have just gotten a lot more difficult in the last few weeks. I guess that does make sense. You know, if this was 4 weeks old, then probably the pool of teams was much weaker overall. So we're going to boost up the second Albatross. And you can definitely see the whole idea here is to have the Albatross sandwich, basically, so that you're getting the boosted damage from both the left and rightmost pets compared to the Tatzelwurm. Another relatively weak looking team here. I think at this point we hadn't yet succumbed to every second team being Leviathan. Now they did have level 3 Hatching Chick, but yeah, no ultra strong higher tier units to pair it with. So we're just looking for the level up on the Tatzelwurm. And then I do also think I'm looking for Fairy Dust. Or maybe I haven't actually put it in this pack. I haven't noticed if it was there or not. We can just take Pancakes on the cow. And yeah, I would like some Fairy Dust on the Albatross at the back, because then when the units at the front have finished summoning, you can then actually jump the Albatross to the front and get an additional snipe. And I think here, yeah, you can see the loop in action, 12 damage per snipe. We only have a level 2 Tatzelwurm. And of course, once you get to a level 3 Beluga, although I'm not sure if we're going to get to that in this particular game, but if you have a level 3 Beluga, then the unit that comes out of it will be level 3 as well. And so each of the snipes will actually do double damage because of the Tatzelwurm's ability. Yeah, okay, we're going to pass up the cow there, hoping to get the level 3 on either the beluga or the seagull. And look at this. I guess, yeah, it's actually kind of funny looking back at this. This is a month old now, over a month old. This opponent is still playing rabbit in every single build. So yeah, I guess they're really getting their money's worth on the new free pets. So we do take the level up here. We end up winning by virtue of the mushroom, which was pretty funny. I think that team would have crushed us if they just had a little bit of extra equipment. And here I think I take the albatross level up instead of the seagull, just because I think it's more likely that I would lose or tie, and we can extend the game a bit further. But each snipe with the pineapple is doing 20 damage. It does go down to 18 when we lose the pineapple. But I think the fact that we have the melon on the albatross here actually really helps out. However, it still works out to be a loss. So maybe that was what I hoped for, I'm not sure. I think on 9 wins, deliberately trying to lose and hoping that you're somehow going to win on turn 16 is pretty optimistic. But in the end here, I think I really should have just taken the seagull level up instead of activating the cow there. But what I can also do is I could actually just sell the cow and go for the seagull level up instead. So I think that's what we're going to do. And we're just going to play a 4 squad on turn 16, which, like I say, is not advisable. And we end up facing another food team, although they don't have a rabbit here. So maybe we're not in such a bad spot. The coconut crab has this powered up coconut, but it is not the level 3. Just the level 2, and so the Tatzelwurm takes care of it. The albatross jumps forward, we knock out the catfish, and there we go. A 4 squad Tatzelwurm albatross win on turn 16. So now we turn our attention to the PDF, and funnily enough, although we're on turn 7 here with this Tatzelwurm, and I think we are going to level it up, things are going to change in a second. I don't know exactly which turn it is, but we are going to transition over to using PDF instead of Tatzelwurm. So actually, I don't think there's a single unit on our team at the moment that is actually going to stay in the squad. Worf doesn't quite delete everything, but I think, yeah, backline unit's going to get knocked out and the Tatzelwurm doesn't have enough. So we end up losing there. But now we find the seagull, and I think at this point we end up rolling the PDF, and yet I pass it up. So the plot thickens. I'm pretty sure I'm recording this voiceover on the correct run. That would be kind of embarrassing if I'd selected the wrong file. But it does look like we're going to win here. So maybe there's going to be like a double PDF in shop. Very soon. Ah, okay, that explains it. So here on turn 9, the treasure chest breaks and we end up getting the level 3 PDF in shop. Despite having the Tatzelwurm already equipped with pineapple, we're just going to sell it. Probably there I should have actually just sold the Mosasaurus and kept the Tatzelwurm for a while. But luckily we found this double blue-ringed octopus. Now I did mention earlier that the 2 runs aren't going to be exactly the same. We do end up taking pineapple on the dart frog regardless, but I think everything else is going to be completely different, other than the fact that we need the seagull. And something else that I did restrict myself on when I was recording these was deliberately avoiding taking the ailment pets. I have done a seagull PDF plus Frostwolf video before, I think. But obviously PDF was clearly designed to work with Flea since they both target the highest health unit. So yeah, for the sake of variety, I decided to avoid them. It does make it a bit more difficult because obviously PDF, if you're sniping the highest health unit, oftentimes that unit will have the best protective equipment. So often you end up wasting damage just popping a melon or a lemon and so on. So we get double oyster here, so I'll sell the anteater, although it is the only thing giving us 2 snipes from the PDF. Another oyster. And I think now it's turn 11, so we really just want mushroom, which we do end up finding. I'll give it to the sea urchin, which I think we are just going to keep now. And yeah, there's not really anything worth taking here, but I guess if I take the alpaca, I could potentially sell the blue-ringed octopus and get an extra level on the seagull. Now, the health reduction from sea urchin plus mushroom is pretty extreme when you think about it, because every time it comes back, it's taking away another 15 health until you reach the point where they're already below 5 health, in which case you're not going to do as much. But now we're going to utilize the seagull's ability to actually equip a second seagull with mushroom. And this is something that you can actually use in battle at the moment. It was removed a while back, as I actually think we faced the same team here in the Tatzelwurm run. But yeah, there was a time when you could have 2 seagulls endlessly giving each other mushrooms when they come back to life. And then it was patched out, but now it's back in. However, in order for that to work, the seagulls do have to have pretty low health. And sometimes everything just gets sniped, in which case they're not going to give mushroom back to each other, because of course one of them has to actually survive. So we're going to double down on this strategy and just forget about the albatross and play 3 seagulls with mushroom and just take the risk that we're not going to face any teams with lots of snipes. Now here we end up facing a summon team, which often can be the bane of your existence when you're trying to play a snipe build here. But actually the dart frog targeting the largest unit results in the Spinosaurus being deleted. And the fly is going to end up with next to no summon support. They do end up getting a golden retriever, a 16/16 golden retriever. But I think when it comes in, yeah, we do have enough to knock it out. So yeah, this is one of those builds where it looks incredible when it works, but when it doesn't work, it just looks absolutely awful, and it can fall apart very, very easily. So here we're just going to put a little bit of extra health onto the seagulls. Hopefully they survive, because it's a huge amount of health reduction for each loop. And look at this team, a massive sauropod Ellie seal plus bird of paradise. And the Pishu, which to be honest is pretty unnecessary now that their stats are so big. But look at the health reduction here. Everything gets reduced down to 1, to the point that a 1/1 sea urchin is knocking out the sauropod. And we actually win. I think that might have been a different story if they just had chili or something like that on one of those units. But I guess it could have also gone badly wrong if the mana snipe had hit the poison dart frog. But as it was, we managed to avoid that scenario. And yeah, one of the more satisfying rounds I've had in the last month or so. So again, we're just going to try and upgrade the seagull with a bit more health. And it's another huge stat opponent with no sniping, no ailments. They do have a boar, which is going to keep regaining health every time it attacks a 1/1 sea urchin. But I think eventually the boar is going to be the highest health unit here. And so the poison dart frog is going to snipe it. Yeah, there it goes. And so another massive team ends up succumbing to the 1/1 sea urchin loop. So 2 really fun builds there using the 2 different friend ahead snipers. And then here's a couple of additional clips that I thought were pretty funny. In the last 5 weeks, this is probably the only front ghost kitten team I've faced. And yet I happen to draw them when I have a Tatzelwurm with a loop. Sometimes it just feels like the matchmaking is against you. And of course they've got Leviathan for good measure. And then we've got one extra clip here which is a lot shorter but pretty amusing, where we've got the sea urchin in second position for once, but it actually gets sniped at start of battle, and so the Tatzelwurm snipes from back in middle position. So yeah, kind of uncommon scenario there, and pretty funny to actually win against a Lynx team.